Remember Napster? That free music thing from way back when? Yeah, the music makers weren't happy about it, and they won a big court case in 2001. Now imagine robots writing news articles that sound just like real journalists. That's what's got today's reporters worried. And it's a whole new kind of copyright battle. Basically, it's like Napster for news. But instead of music, it's robots copying the work of real people. Pretty wild, right? That's exactly what has the New York Times up in the arms, suing an AI company called OpenAI for allegedly using their articles without permission. But hold on, it's not just the Times. Authors, musicians, and even software developers are joining the fight, claiming AI is copying their work to train its fancy algorithms. Is this the end of journalism as we know it? Or is it just the growing pains of a new technology trying to find its place? Let's dive into it. The newspaper you love writes an amazing article, but then someone uses a special computer program to copy it almost exactly, changes a few words, and sells it as their own. That's kind of what's happening with news articles in AI. The New York Times says companies like OpenAI are using their articles to train AI programs, then making money off them without permission. OpenAI says they're not doing anything wrong, but news publishers are worried about their future. So, who's right? This is a big deal because it affects the news industry, copyright laws, and how new technologies work. Basically, everyone has a different opinion on what's at stake here, from the future of news to the future of AI itself. So, the New York Times versus OpenAI. Fight got messy. The New York Times sued OpenAI, saying they copied their news articles without permission. OpenAI says they're innocent, but news publishers are freaking out because they think AI might steal their jobs someday. Now, everyone's waiting for Congress to decide what to do, but they're kinda stuck. No one really agrees on how to fix this whole mess. Tech folks are worried about slowing down AI progress, while news companies are like, hey, pay for our work. It's a pickle. Imagine you're talking to a really smart computer program like ChatGPT. When you ask it about history, it might use info from news articles, including some of the New York Times. That's because these programs called LLMs have been trained on tons of data, like newspaper archives. Think of it like teaching a kid by showing them examples. The data helps the LLM learn to answer questions well. Using copyrighted stuff like news articles is part of what makes these programs powerful and companies like OpenAI successful. But the New York Times isn't happy about their articles being used for free, so they sued OpenAI. It's a tricky situation because AI is cool and new, but using copyrighted stuff without permission isn't right either. The Times says OpenAI used their articles to train their AI program without permission. This, they claim, lets OpenAI act like a copycat, making summaries of news stories or product reviews that sound suspiciously similar to the Times' work. Even worse, the Times says the AI sometimes just copies and pastes their stuff word for word. They provided 100 examples to prove it. Now OpenAI says, hold on a second. They claim this copying is just a rare bug they're fixing, and the Times is being tricky by making the AI mess up on purpose. They say the Times picked just a few bad examples out of many tries. The Times claim this is costing them billions of dollars, which is a pretty hefty accusation. Imagine someone using your best work to make millions without asking. OpenAI, on the other hand, says, let's talk money. We're happy to pay copyright owners just like we already do with others. They even say they were trying to make a deal with the Times before the lawsuit started. So it's kind of like two friends arguing over a borrowed sweater. One says it's damaged and owes them a ton, while the other says they're happy to pay, but only if they can agree on a fair price. Well, it seems their offer might be a bit, well, cheap. Reports say they offered some news outlets between $1 million and $5 million to use their articles for training their AI. Now, a company potentially worth $100 billion, that doesn't seem like much, does it? But if they lose these lawsuits, it could cost them way more than just a few million bucks. So it's kind of like offering someone a $5 coupon for accidentally spilling coffee on their $1,000 designer jacket. They might not be too happy. The New York Times isn't the only one throwing punches in this AI fight. Turns out authors, musicians, and even software developers are joining the party, suing companies like OpenAI for allegedly pinching their work to train their AI models. Imagine writing a song or creating a code only to find an AI spitting it back out at its own. These lawsuits go beyond just words and music. Even image creators like Getty Images are suing AI companies for using their copyrighted photos. It's like a copyright buffet for lawyers. These lawsuits could mean huge fines for the AI companies. So who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Honestly, it's not that simple. Both sides have a point. The Times wants to protect their work, and AI companies need data to learn and grow. But where do you draw the line? Can AI borrow inspiration without stealing the whole show? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Or rather, it's being decided in courtrooms as we speak. This case is gonna set a precedent for how AI and creativity play together in the future. Will it be a beautiful harmony or a noise of copyright claims? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this AI story is far from over, and we're all watching with popcorn in hand.